School budgets have been slashed to the bone. The quality of our children's education is at risk. Plus, lower quality education lowers property values. Donate today to keep Castro Valley schools excellent.
Hi, I'm Nate Miley, Alameda County Supervisor, District 4. I'm presently the President of the Board of Supervisors. And I'm really excited about running once again for the position because I enjoy public service. I've done a good job, in my humble opinion, over the past 12 years or so. The county is facing many weighty issues, issues dealing with our sports teams, issues dealing with criminal justice realignment, issues dealing with balancing the budget, hospital health care reform. So there are many issues that the County Board of Supervisors has to face and we have to address. And the experience that I have, I feel, will help to add value to helping the county come to some resolution with those issues. Over the years, I've tried to be as accessible as possible to my constituents, working on many issues that affect the quality of life in Oakland, the unincorporated communities, and now even Pleasanton. I've been an elected official, and it's a job that I've sought out, and it's a job that I enjoy. With my staff, we go at it very proactively. We don't wait for issues to come to us. We are very engaged and accessible, trying to make sure that we work with the community, be responsive to the community, listen to the community. Reasonable people will disagree, but we're always there trying to listen and bring about some resolution. So it is my hope that you will support my candidacy for yet again on the Alameda County Board of Supervisors, and that I deserve your support, and I welcome it as well. Thank you.
My name is Tojo Thomas, and I've been working as a probation officer for 11 years. Before that, I worked for Alameda County Social Services for about a year. I'm here to represent Alameda County District 4 as a supervisor. I'm running for this election because I believe in ethics and integrity. I believe in bringing ethics and integrity back to county administration. I believe in public safety, especially criminal justice AB 109, where parolees are coming to our neighborhoods and they're not supervised well. They're being asked to supervise without no resources. I'm concerned about our schools. I'm concerned about the safety in our schools. We need to bring school resource officers in almost all schools to make our kids safe. And the third thing I'm running on is, again, I'm repeating, bringing ethics and integrity, being accountable to our people of Alameda County. Thank you.
This first question, and again, 2 minutes. Why does Castro Valley matter?
Oh, Castro Valley matters because it's a significant part of the unincorporated area. It's about 60,000 people. Castro Valley, I would consider, is almost the heart of the unincorporated community. It really should potentially be a city, but people decided not to become a city. Castro Valley has a lot of unique qualities, good schools. The climate here is, in terms of safety, is good and wholesome, and it's the type of community that I think could be emulated in other parts of Alameda County. We're working to try to ensure that Castro Valley has a very thriving and vibrant downtown. We want to make sure Castro Valley is a livable community and continues to be a livable community. Castro Valley matters because there are people in Castro Valley who used to live in other parts of the district. I know a number of my constituents I've talked to used to live in places like Oakland, and they still care about communities in Oakland and other parts of our county. The Castro Valley citizens can help to show an example for how an unincorporated community can thrive and move forward. Castro Valley matters because we're looking at trying to improve the boulevard. We're looking at trying to deal with Daughtry's. We're looking at trying to, we've built a new library, and all of these things are conducive to a good quality of life in Castro Valley. Working with the school district in Castro Valley, working with HARD is important in terms of recreation. Working even with the Castro Valley Municipal Advisory Council that provides advice to me and the Board of Supervisors on matters in Castro Valley. So I think Castro Valley is a very important part of District 4. I am pleased and proud to represent Castro Valley. We spend a lot of time out here. I have an office out here, and I'll continue to be assured that Castro Valley matters a lot to me as their county supervisor.
Before I go into Castro Valley, I just want to say, I've spoken in a lot of forums. It's the first time I'm doing a debate with an entrenched politician, so I'm a little bit nervous, but I'll get with it. Castro Valley, I have a personal attachment to Castro Valley. My daughter goes to school in Castro Valley School District, so I was with the SOS, Save Schools for Castro Valley, and I was their celebrity waiter to bring up funds for the 18 teachers they were thinking about laying off, but they haven't done that because we were able to raise funds with the SOS committee. I live in Fairview. Castro Valley is also an unincorporated area. Fairview is an unincorporated area. So I care about unincorporated areas of Alameda County. Issues in Castro Valley, and mainly I want to hit on MAC. They deal with, I've been in a couple of meetings. They deal with zoning, permits, and other issues. And lately I read in the news from you, Mr. Souza, that Mr. Miley could not get along with the MAC board, and it was on the news that there were issues. My thing is, when there's a appointed board, there should be a clear communication. It looks like there's obviously a communication barrier. I'm about communication, being on the same page, and working with the MAC board or whatever the board it is, working together. And another issue is construction on Castro Valley Boulevard. And it might be a good thing, it might be, but it's poor planning. It should have been planned much better, because I've been talking to business owners. They're concerned about losing their business because of the construction going on. There's no foot traffic. I live in the unincorporated area, so I care about the unincorporated areas of Alameda County and Castro Valley. Thank you.
Either gentleman wish to rebut anything that was said in answer this question here?
Sure.
Okay. And be 1 minute.
The Castro Valley MAC, I make the appointments and they're ratified by the Board of Supervisors. I have a very good working relationship with the MAC. I sit down with the chair of the MAC and another representative of the MAC on a monthly basis to talk about MAC procedures. My staff are at every MAC meeting. So we have a very, very wholesome and good relationship. It doesn't mean that we always agree, because once again, reasonable people are not going to always agree. The Castro Valley General Plan was a good example of that. It was a very contentious plan, but ultimately we had to enact a plan which I think is fair and just and reasonable. So I would just say that I communicate well with my constituents, but likewise, I can't please all my constituents, and I never will, but I will definitely try to do what's right and what's just and what's fair.
For the MAC board, the guy to come out and say, what is a slap in the face for Miley did what he did, Mr. Miley did what he did, that just shows that there's no clear communication. That's all I had to say.
What will be your highest priority if elected? And again, 2 minutes.
My highest priority, I'm a probation officer. So my highest priority is public safety, especially AB 109, where parolees are being transferred to a probation, and there's no resources. My opponent might say, I've seen it as courts on the news, it's an exciting plan, all that stuff, but it's not exciting. I'm talking to my other probation officers in the department. These parolees are coming out of their neighborhood with no supervision, basically no supervision and no resources. We should be nervous. They say, the politicians say they're non-dangerous, non-serious offenders. They're serious offenders. The last crime was not serious, but they have a record. The record says they have sex offenses, they have violent offenses. So these guys are coming out, and the resources are not there. I'm not talking about weapons. Yes, weapons are needed, but I'm talking about counseling, anger management counseling, sex offender counseling, the halfway houses, which the parole had. Then I'm also concerned about the $9.2 million. There was a plan to give it to community-based organizations. That's not fair. It should be given to probation, local law enforcement, sheriffs to hire more officers so they can supervise these parolees better. We're not talking about friendly people here. We're talking about parolees. They've been to probation, they've been through the system, and they're coming out of state prison. So let's supervise them better. That's my first priority. Thank you.
What will be your top priority if elected?
My top priority is to ensure that the county's budget is balanced so that we can deliver services to our constituents throughout this county, the 1.5 million people that live in Alameda County. You know, constantly the state's putting more responsibilities on the counties, more mandates, criminal justice realignment, health and human services realignment, and with the fiscal situation and the economy, it's been a challenge for the county. We've cut nearly $2 billion out of our budget over the last 10 years. This year we're projecting maybe an $88 million budget deficit. Last year was about $140 million. So clearly it's important that the budget is balanced and we have the resources to go about the delivery of services. And the county I want to assure that the county continues to be managed well fiscally. We have in our general reserves close to $175 million. Recently our bonding rating was increased, and it allows the county to build a $1 billion new hospital in Oakland. The county needs to make sure we continue to move forward with measures that deal with transportation. You know, we're putting Measure B3 on the ballot that will provide BART to Livermore. It will provide complete streets. It'll provide more money for AC Transit. So the fiscal climate of which we live in is utterly important. Caseloads have increased for probation officers, for social service workers, for healthcare workers. People are doing more with less. And if we don't have a balanced budget, that makes it even more significant. I'm very fortunate that, and the county's very fortunate that our bargaining units have made some major concessions as a result of negotiations in terms of cost sharing around premiums for health care, in terms of pension, as well as not taking raises for the last 4 years. Our CBO organizations haven't got a cost of living adjustment as well. So those types of things are extremely important. I think the budget and balancing the county's budget is the top priority.
We can have all the services you want. You can have BART and all that stuff. If community is not safe, people are not going to get out. There's no point. The first main thing is making our community safe. That's my point.
So I'm going to rebut around the criminal justice realignment. The realignment plan, the $9 million is divvied up between probation, the public defender, the DA, social services, and health care. It's a very good plan based on the fact that we only received $9 million. A county of our size should have received over $20 million. That's what San Bernardino received. We're trying to work on changing that funding formula so we get more. But it's not a zero-sum game. The Sheriff Department lost over $20 million with criminal justice realignment. So clearly we need to take the limited resources we have, the $9 million, and make sure that we've put together an effective plan. That plan looks at individual improvement plans for formerly incarcerated. We're expected to jail the non-nons, non-sex, non-violent, non-serious criminals. Locally in our jails, we're expected to defend them if they recidivate. So it's a challenging situation with limited resources, but I feel the plan was put together and it's an effective plan. Thank you.
All right, and this question, 2 minutes again. What issues do you think are facing District 4 or Castro Valley specific, and how will you address them?
Well, issues facing District 4 are funding necessary for transportation improvements throughout the county, dealing with congestion, dealing with making sure that we have adequate funding to get BART to Livermore. We're also issues facing the hospitals, healthcare reform, and how that's going to roll out and its impact. Just recently, we had to bail out, and we've been bailing out almost $40 million to St. Rose, which is a private hospital. So how are we going to address the healthcare needs? With healthcare reform, we're expecting a lot more people to need healthcare services, and how are we going to accommodate all of them? That's a big issue. With health and human services realignment that's coming down, if the governor's tax measures don't pass, there are going to be additional trigger cuts that could have an effect locally. And I just talked about the fact of the budget being a situation. If those tax measures aren't approved this fall, then there will be additional trigger cuts that are going to affect the county's ability to deliver services and balance our budget. That's another big issue. Now the redevelopment's gone, how are we going to assure that we continue to do things in Castro Valley, an unincorporated community, that are improving the quality of life, trying to deal with the boulevard, trying to deal with the Daughtries. The point of the matter is, if we didn't have redevelopment, we wouldn't have built a new Castro Valley Library, which happened under my watch. We're building a new Ashland Youth Center that's happening under my watch. But without those resources, we couldn't have done that. You know, not having redevelopment resources are going to constrict our ability to build a new community center in Cherryland, of which people want. So that's a big issue. Moving out to Pleasanton, we have to look at how we're going to deal with Route 84, Pigeon Pass, to deal with congestion in the city of Pleasanton. We're looking at the fairgrounds, coming up with a strategic plan to deal with the fair in the city of Pleasanton. We're looking at trying to resolve issues at Castlewood and how that affects the quality of life in the community. So there are issues that span District 4 that require some knowledge and require some on-the-job, constant scrutiny.
What issues do you think are facing District 4, Castro Valley? How will you address them?
District 4. My main issues that I'm keeping it simple. Public safety, that's my platform. But to a better school system. School resource officers in our schools. When our kids feel safe, they learn better. We need to make our kids feel safe, the community safe. Number 3, the major thing Mr. Miley did not hit on, ethics and integrity in county administration. We have been in the news for the past 6 months with all kinds of scandals. Sex scandals, our own chief going on an admin leave, unpaid admin leave because of sexual assault allegations. You know, with the other supervisor from District 2. You know, this stuff needs to stop. It's happening under, you know, he's proud to say he's the president of the board, but ethics and integrity is so low that you cannot even believe it. It can't be this low. People are shoplifted, and they're saying that it's a sickness. I mean, if that's the case, the county's integrity, ethics, and the accountability need to be looked at. That's the first thing need to be looked at, and before he started fixing things that he was talking about. Thank you.
Can I respond?
Absolutely.
Ethics in government is extremely important, and I try to be transparent. We took the appropriate steps in putting the chief probation officer on paid administrative leave once we found out that he was alleged sexual harassment and assault. With my colleague, Supervisor Nadia Lockyer, she's clearly facing a disease, chemical dependency. She's having marital issues and concerns, and it took her a while to come to the realization that for her own self, for her constituents, for her family, and others, it would be better to resign. And I talked with her about that, and she did that. We all face difficulties and challenges in our life, and the public official needs to have a higher standard, and I try to uphold that higher standard in the way I go about serving the public, and I'll continue to do that to the best of my ability.
Can I read about ethics and integrity? Here was it goes. He sent us an email from District 4 saying that you reserve judgment until the matter is over. 2 weeks later, Mr. Carson comes out and says, oh, sexual assault. We talked to Mr. Mohammed, and he said it was consensual, and after that it was a gray area. What is a gray area? First of all, chief probation officer should not be having a relationship with any of his staff. That's the first thing you need to understand. That is ethics and integrity. After that, then you start doing the investigation of whatever you need to do. But you cannot have a relationship with one of his staff. That's abuse of power. You should have been gone in the first place. Thank you.
What role do you see the supervisor playing in supporting quality of life issues, including education and public protection?
There should be a great role in public protection. What was the second part?
Education as well.
There should be a big role. You know, there's a thing. When I talked to Ms. Gail Steele, she said that, Board of Supervisors probably don't have a lot to do with education, but I think we do. I supported SOS in fundraising for Castro Valley School District, and public protection is a huge thing. I mean, wherever we can get more officers out there That's where you stop crime. And with AB 109, the $9.2 million that our county is getting, we should use that for hiring officers and give that money to the probation department, police department, sheriff's department. They can do whatever they want to find the right community-based organizations, find the right nonprofit programs that works with the criminals. You know, I've been a probation officer for 11 years. I know what I speak. I know what I speak because I've been seeing some corrupt community-based organizations just take the money and just use it for different purposes. So we need to put a stop to that. And I'm saying public protection, put more officers on the street, and education, make our kids feel safe in their schools. Thank you.
Well, the county supervisors have a significant role in terms of the quality of life because we're the safety net in terms of services, both social services, health care, other types of issues that affect the quality of life. Public protection is fundamental. You know, I led the effort to have the board adopt the Comprehensive Violence Prevention Plan in 2006. I've chaired the Public Protection Committee on the Board of Supervisors. I chaired the Public Safety Committee when I was on Oakland City Council. I've worked really hard to try to ensure safe communities. So nothing trumps public safety in my mind, and I will take a backseat to nobody on that. But public safety has to go hand in hand with education because we need an educated society. Both my mother is a teacher, and my sister is a principal, and my brother-in-law is a principal in the school system. I have a law degree. I believe really strongly in education. It's important that kids can go to school safely. It's important that kids can walk and bike to school. It's important that kids have a safe environment when they're at school. It's important that kids have a good, nutritious lunch. All of that's important so that they can be educated appropriately. It's important that teachers get paid a decent salary. In fact, I think teachers are underpaid because teachers need to be appropriately compensated. But that's not something that the County Board of Supervisors can control. But clearly, as a county supervisor, I can advocate for measures like the governor's measure, tax measure, that's going to provide more money for schools, more money for education if it passes. If it doesn't pass, there are going to be additional trigger cuts that are going to hurt education. So it's important that we all get behind supporting the foundation so that our schools can be good, that we can have good public safety, and to have all that we need the resources and we need to expend those in an appropriate manner.
You know, the emotions are coming out because there's a lot of heat in our department. You think that probation department is, yeah, Ms. Harris came through, she's doing a great job, but we still have a lot of emotions about what happened with Mr. Muhammad. You know, I had a great relationship with Mr. Muhammad, but what has happened has taken a turmoil in our department. So let me ask you this: what was the hiring process for David Muhammad?
2 minutes, Nate.
Okay, the hiring process for David Muhammad, we had a headhunter go out and openly search for candidates. We had, I believe, close to 20 people apply, if I recall correctly. I could be thinking about another position, but it was an open, competitive competition. Ultimately, Mr. Muhammad and others were screened by a committee. It wasn't the Board of Supervisors. Then ultimately, we had maybe 5 candidates that the board interviewed, and then after we got down to maybe the final 2 or 3, we made a decision to hire Mr. Muhammad. Before he was offered the job, there was background checks done on him, character references done on him. We looked into him. We had pressure from community groups because people wanted us to hire Mr. Muhammad, but I never made up a decision about whether or not I would hire Mr. Muhammad until we went through the whole process and he was vetted as part of that process to assure that he would be the best candidate. We hired Mr. Muhammad because he is a change agent. He brought a lot of integrity to the process. Mr. Muhammad understands the type of reforms we're looking for. Mr. Muhammad understands that we're looking to make sure that probation looks at alternatives to incarceration. We built a new juvenile hall, but we don't necessarily want to lock up all the youngsters officers. We want somebody who's on the cutting edge. Mr. Muhammad has a national reputation. He's looked at the Missouri model, so we can bring that into our probation system to allow that to work for us. So Mr. Muhammad, there was a very deliberative process, and because he's a sworn officer, there was significant background checks done on him to ensure that we could be comfortable with his hiring.
Just a quick thing. I just searched his name. His old name was David Gaither. Just searched his name on Google. Just came out that all these news articles, him admitting to attempted murder, him admitting as an adult he did attempted murder when he was 16. So you're saying they did a thorough background search? That's a joke. Okay, some of us could put his name on Google. All this stuff comes out. Like I said before, I had a good relationship with Mr. Muhammad, but after this thing, you guys put him on administrative leave. We searched all kinds of stuff is coming out of Washington. So what you said about extensive background search, that's a joke.
To rebut from a Google search, to rebut, when you have quality and qualified people who do background checks, to attempt to rebut these assertions that are just, I'm just flabbergasted by the assertions. We have hired many people over the years, not just Mr. Muhammad. We've hired department heads in many capacities. Sometimes we do it in-house, sometimes we do national searches. And with Mr. Muhammad, it was a national search. We went through the same processes and procedures we normally go through, but the only difference is with Mr. Muhammad, because it's a sworn position, there'd be additional background checks on him. So if Mr. Thomas could do a better job, that's really good for Mr. Thomas. But I know I relied on our professional staff, both in-house and consultants, in terms of the search that we did and the vetting of Mr. Muhammad.